Okay, so let's take a look at while we're waiting to set up. We had one LG2 43.5 right there this morning. Let's take a look. I want to go over something real quick with you guys. So I want to go over time of day trading. So time of day trading is very, very important. And the reason I say that is that when you get these levels coming up, here, let me pull this up, this other chart, so you can see it a little bit more clear. So this is time of day trading. So I always tell traders the best time to look for these setups is after the New York Open, 9:35 to 11 o'clock. So we all know that. We know that's where volume kicks in. These electronically traded markets. That typically is the best time to look for these setups. That's how we were yesterday. I'll go back a couple sessions. You'll see that's when we get the most activity on these V bottoms or V tops. So that's your time window, right? 9:35 to 11. If we look at yesterday, skinny it down. This is setup I talked about us getting into. Right there, it happened at 9:35, just after 9:35. This is our liquidity grab that started us off. That started us off on the first liquidity grab. After the V bottom came in again. This happened at 10:34. And then we got one right after 11 o'clock that propelled us, just after 11. So 11:15. I'm going to put this to 11:15 because that's what I always tell traders. 11:15 to 11:45 are till 12:45. Then it's sort of the downtime where it sort of likes to oscillate around. So this is a good window to trade. You had 1, 2, we were 3 for 3 on V bottoms and liquidity grabs. If I go the day before, same thing. If I look at 9:35, 9:30 after New York Open, we had a sweet spot V bottom. Then we had a sweet spot V bottom, liquidity grab, LG2 strategy, LG2 strategy worked, LG2 strategy worked, sweet spot V bottom, LG2 strategy worked. So another nice little session, right? So time of day trade is very, very, very important to understand, because if you understand, that is where you're going to get a lot of the action at. So let's go into the time of day now after 9:45. So I'm just getting that down. So 9:35, 11:15, really good time to look for these V bottoms and time to turn on the liquidity grab trader, for your entry, stop, and exit. Okay, so you got 9:35. This is time of day trading, right? And then from 11:15 to 12:45, you sort of see the volume dry up. You can get some nice, if it's hard trading that day, it can go all through the whole trading day. But typically, on the average trading day, on that window from 11:45, you're not going to get a lot of price movement. I'll put that in red. But then they come back in, and this is when you got to start looking for action to start. A lot of traders say that the post afternoon comes in at 1:30 to 1:45. It actually starts at 12:50. You'll see a spike in volume. $12.50 to the close. That's when you start seeing these algos go back to work again. So now, when I say the close, there's a specific time period where I teach traders, the algorithms really like to push the market. It's called window dressing at the close. So we'll put this in green. It's a great time to look for the V bottoms, V tops. Oh, I'm going to go here too. So red means it's slow, right? Red means it's slow. And that right here also, unless there's news comes out at 8:30. Put this as a slow time too. Put that in red. So a lot of you traders, like I started looking at the markets at 7:15 this morning. all you traders start looking at the market, which is great, but that's a slow period like right now. Oops. Okay, so you go into what? Hold on, let me get the size right here. That's 38. So we go from slow period to really active period to slower period to active period. Now, the reason I'm saying time of day, and I'll show you. So you can start your trading day off at 7:30, 7:30, 9:30. It's pre-market, right? Pre-news. You do get trades. We just had a trade on Liquidity Grab Trader that got it 2.5 points just a second ago. So you do get trades. 9:35, 11:15. That's where you can see the LG trader. We've seen some big trades this week. We had a 15-pointer and over a 20-pointer during that period the last couple of days. So then 12:50 close. So 12:50 right here, if you look at yesterday, look where it started. This is a sweet spot V bottom because it's above my inner dots and it's green, and that started the whole move on driving the S&P higher at 6130.5. Drove it higher all the way to the close at 56. 26-point move in the S&P. It all started at the time of day at 12:50. Okay, so 12:50, if you go to lunch, that's when she starts getting active again. The last part, which I want to put in, is the 350 to 410 on the futures. This is an active time to really start looking for setups, V-bottoms, and using Liquidity Grab Trader. The reason being is this is considered by a lot of institutions, a lot of the big algos. This is considered one of the best times to look for setups. Very, very hot time to look for setups. So at 350 yesterday, at exactly 350, look at that. Look at my cursor. Exactly to the exact bar. And I talk about this over and over, week after week after week after week, that they love to drive price at 350. So when using the algo then, this is yesterday's price action, we had that nice V bottom that happened at 1250 here. So you can get the V bottom here. You can take a shot at the V bottom after it comes in, or you can just turn the Liquidity Grab Trader on. The great thing about Liquidity Grab Trader, traders ask me, new traders, well, what's the advantage of Liquidity Grab Trader? One, it takes the emotion out of entering. Two, your fills are fast. It's almost impossible to emulate a computer and a strategy that fills in a fast market than you entering by yourself manually. So fills are big advantage. And then two is taking the emotion out. Taking the total emotion out, the entries are filled, and it takes the emotion out when there's actually a setup that comes in. So it totally removes the emotion out of the trade, and it removes the emotion out of the stop, and it removes the emotion out of the targets. Okay, so that was the first one at 1250. Started out nice. Yesterday afternoon was just a beautiful trading. We were 3 for 3 in the morning on the V bottoms on these time of day trades, and it was 3 for 3 in the afternoon. Then we come up and we have another one. This is an LG2 that happened at 231. Ended up getting stopping on that, but here's the big one. Here's a time of day trade, and it drove price. It drove price. Look at that vertical move. Here's your V bottom. It's a time of day trade. You toggle. It's a matter of flipping the switch on your Liquidity Grab Trader. And sure enough, it drove price right into the close. And you can see here, if you compare the charts, that's the time of day. So this is the times that if you're European, now if you're a European trader, the best times to look at would be the London Open, you get a lot of nice trades that happen at around 2:45 to 4:30. So if I'm an overnight trader, or if I'm overseas from the U.S., 2:45 to 4:30 is a really good window, because the London opens up at 3 Eastern Standard Time U.S., and you see a nice V-bottom, V-tops, and liquidity grab trader trades. They typically can look like this, where you get that big sustained move, right? So but that's what you guys can do, is you can use these V-bottoms. Once a V-bottom comes in, activate the liquidity grab trader. But it's certain time of days. This is a time of day trade. It happened exactly at 12:50, my time of day trade. This happened exactly right on 15:50. Now what you can do is today, and I'll show you today again, is 9:35 to 11:15. What's a good time to look for a trade there? 9:35 to 45 is my time of day trade during this window. 10 o'clock and 10:30. What you'll notice, if you look at thousands and thousands of setups, you will notice one thing. You will notice that on top of the hour, these liquidity grabs tend to happen, right? On top of the hour. So right now, here is the LG2 at 43.5. So this is a 43.5. So it's a slower market right now, because we're into this. It's a slower market right now because it's into it's pre-market. But what it does is it lets you know that on the bottom of the hour, the top hour, whether it be 9 o'clock, 8:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30. Well, that's a dead time. But then, not 12 o'clock, 12:30, but 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30. You're going to see 3 o'clock, 3:30. So those are another great times to look for these setups, because that's when algos, it's usually 10 till the top of the hour and 10 after the top of the hour on each side of the the clock. So whether it be 1, 1:30, 2, 2:30, that 10-minute window, 10 till 2, 10 after 2, 2:20, 2:40. So really watch that for these setups. So when you look at that and you're getting in these setups, here's our first liquidity grab trade of the day. We have red, we only short. If you turn liquidity grab trader on, the fill 43.5 was slippage on a live fill. It was 43.5, and then it got as low as 40.5 so far. So this is our first trade of the liquidity grab trader for the morning. But I wanted to let you guys know that on the time of day trades, because I think that's very important for traders to understand, is that it's slow from, not unless there's 8:30 news. If there's 8:30 news, and here's the big news events of the month. You go to forexfactory.com. This is very simple. You go to forexfactory.com, look at the red impact numbers. You don't want to trade the strategy on right before news comes out, a couple of minutes before, a couple of minutes after. So what you're going to do is you go to forexfactory.com. It's a free service. I've used this forever. And it tells us today at 9:45 the flash PMI comes on, so you don't want to have the strategy turned on at 9:45. So at 9:43, 9:42, shut it off, turn it back on at 9:48. 3 minutes or 5 minutes afterwards, and let it go to work, for your liquidity grabs. But this is a really good, you go to this little tornado over here, this filter, looks like a funnel, and you want to put everything against the USD right here. You look at the red impact, you only check that. I don't care about these non-impact news, and I do all event types, housing, everything, whatever. Against the USD, apply the filter. Once you apply the filter, you're going to see your news events. Now, you can print this calendar out. You can print the calendar out for the entire week. So if I hit calendar, I can see my entire week. And I can see next week too. So I can see everything, my entire week that I want to see, and I can filter it out to only against the USD. So if I go here, I uncheck these, and I uncheck these, and I apply a filter, I'm only going to see my top news events of the week right here. So Sunday night, what you can do is you can look for next week, and I know my top news events for the week. So now I know when I can and cannot turn on Liquidity Grab Trader. You don't want to turn on Liquidity Grab Trader right before news events. Why? NinjaTrader is not going to be able to keep up with the stops on the automated system, especially if you use smaller Renko sizes like we like to get in. On V-top, V-bottoms, we're using a 15-tick stop, right? So it's if the market gaps up 5 points or down 5 points, it's not going to keep up with your stops. So print this out on the calendar and put that right down. What I like to do is I just look at it in the morning. I know some traders that are in and outside this room, they print the calendar out and they put it right beside their trading desk in the morning, and they just look at it right when they log in. So next week, you can tell next Wednesday at 2 p.m. we get the Fed funds rate. It's a huge news event. And then we have the GDP next week to end the month. But these are the most important events that happen during the month, right? This is when you're going to see a lot of liquidity grab trades. So that's another thing that's conducive to winning trading plan is trading with news days, right? And before news events come and after news events come, you get a lot of V-top, V-bottoms, and a lot of dual trend filters getting us in the right direction. So this, coupled with time of day trading, it really, really works out well because now you know exactly when the news events are coming in, and now you know when to trade. So they work hand in hand, and I like to educate traders that way. When strategy trading, be smart about it. Don't have it toggled on during news events. So look at the red impact numbers. It's a free service that comes out, and we absolutely love using them to look for our news events. Okay, so right now in the market, what we got currently is we are looking for what? We're red. So we are in a downtrend. We're red. Right now, Liquidity Grab Trader got short here. Here's our first Liquidity Grab trade of the day. There's a short. You can see LG2 got short. Simply in the PDF on the members download page, I go this in great detail. And then we're going to have a conference call Monday at 8 o'clock. I'm going to show you, go over this again on how to use even longer Renko sizes. Typically what we do in the room is we just use our 120 to fire us in the trade, and stops range with traders between 15 to 20 ticks on this size Renko. You know, so that's a great way for a lot of traders how they like to use the system and so on. All right, Gerald, go ahead and shut that off if you can. Yeah, it's universal, Steve. The only thing with the crude oil is that crude oil, the pit closes in the afternoon at 2:30. So after 2:30, I would not be trading crude oil. After 2:30, you do not want to trade crude oil. But other than that, this is pretty much universal in all markets. Yep, absolutely. Great question. What crude likes to do, crude moves pre-market and the same time of day trade. You get a lot of 9:45 to 11's great time to trade crude. In fact, what crude does, it goes from really 9:45 to 1:30. 9:45 to 1:30. You still get some great trades. Absolutely. You just got to be, the price action volume slows up with these algorithms right around just after 2:30, so I would stand aside.